Hi there, it's Steph. Thanks for popping by. So today I'm sharing with you a card I created using a GiftAbella stamp set. It's a stamp set. It has a great thing with it, called GiftAbella. It's my third attempt at that card, so I won't show you the first two attempts because obviously they were failed. But basically for that attempt, I stamped the image on some Ranger watercolor cardstock with some VersaFine. It's VersaFine, yes. VersaFine Onyx Black. And then I used my heat gun to dry it just to make sure I wasn't going to smear it all over my paper like I do. And then I started watercoloring. So I'm using Brusho to do that. I'm using a palette that I put on the side so you won't see on the screen, but I just put my powder and I dilute it until the pigments are really dissolved in it. And I start coloring. So for the hair I did brown, and I think I'm gonna add a little bit of orange at some point. That's the thing, when you do 3 cards, 3 times the same card, you kind of forget what you do. So keep your eye closed on the video. And for the skin, it's a very, very washed brown. It's the same brown then for the hair, but it's very washed. I did add a bit of black for the hair actually, just to add a little bit of contrast. And then going back to the skin, then I added a very thin layer of orange. It's kind of a mix of orange and brown. I mean, Brusho only comes with 12 colors, but that's enough for you to kind of do your own mixes to get the color you want, really. You know, as you practice with it, it becomes a bit easier. And you know what to mix together. When I used to do watercolor with distress ink, I had that many distress ink, I didn't really need too much to mix colors together to get the desired outcome, let's say, desired color. But here with Brusho, I'm a lot more limited, but I still make it work, so you know, don't be scared because there's only 12 colors. I don't know how the other Ken Oliver, the color burst, I'm not sure how many colors they come in, but I'm assuming it's about a similar amount of color. So yeah, don't be put off by that. You can mix it by yourself basically. Then in terms of brushes, I purchased some brushes recently from Cold Pens. They do a large range of pens, and I thought, oh, I'm gonna have a look if they have brushes, and they do a very small selection of brushes. But because it's a small selection, maybe I thought it was worth giving it a try. They were like reasonably priced. I can't remember the exact price, but a few pounds each, so that's reasonably priced. And I bought 2 round brushes, one number 2 and one number 4. So here for the coloring of the girl, I do number 2, and then for the coloring of the background, I use number 4 because it goes faster. What I find tricky with the GiftAbella images is that they are very narrow spaces. If you look at the wrist, at the elbow, at the neck, the leg, it's kind of like, I do want to color her with Copics, but I'm a bit scared because I'm not sure where I'm going to go. You know, Copics have really thick nibs. I'm not sure how that is going to work out with that stamp, so keep an eye on my YouTube channel to see what happens next. I like to kind of use my stamp several times with different mediums and see, you know, what kind of different outcome and styles I can come up with. I find it quite interesting, and I hope you do too. So then for the dress, I use Scarlet Red, so it's quite a rich deep red. And for the fluffy bit of the dress, as well as the wrapping paper of the present, I use a very watered down black, and I wanted it to look like a very light grey basically, and just adding some shading on the fluffy bits of the dress. And just put it on the present as if it was very, almost like a see-through wrapping paper kind of thing, if you know, a bit like on flower bouquets and stuff like that. I did kind of use the colors suggested on the packaging of the stamp because I was a bit clueless, and that did help me quite a lot. For the present, I decided to do the bow in green. I thought it looked quite nice because there was a little bit of green but not quite enough, so I'm trying to balance out between the red hot colors and the white and the blue, sorry, cold colors. So I added a little bit of green. And I forgot to say I did use a mix of yellow and perfect pearl, so a lot of perfect pearls with some yellow, and it looks gold. So I did the ribbon around the waist, or the belt I suppose, in gold, the shoes in gold, as well as a headband. It looks really nice. And here on the bow, I'm adding a little bit of gold onto the green, and it kind of blended together, and that looks actually really nice when you see it in real. I know on the video it's not as obvious, but in real it's quite cool. Regarding that, oh, I did add a bit of eyeshadow as well. And I did do a little tricks earlier. I did have to take the excess off because it was a little bit too pink for my liking. But I think it's quite nice. I love makeup, so it's kind of, I like adding that little touch. And then something I'm going to share with you, because I don't know if you know or not, but I have experienced it. I've done this card twice with embossing powder, so I stamped with VersaFine and used some clear embossing powder. And the third time I just did VersaFine and I dried it. And although the cardstock is really good at soaking in the liquid, which is a good point for it, if you don't use embossing powder, it bleeds quite a lot. So for example, I had a lot of red, and you can't see it that much on the video, but there's a lot of red in a fluffy, white fluffy part at the top. And that is why I use such a thick Sakura Micron pigment. But then actually I do quite like having a contrast between my image and my background. But if you did do no line coloring, for example, I think that would have been a problem. No line coloring with watercoloring here. I think if it bled everywhere, it probably would have been quite bad at the end. I wouldn't even give it a go personally. It's up to you, but personally I wouldn't bother. Then I added a little bit of shading on one side, as if the light was coming from the left, just to add a little bit of contrast. A little bit of wink of Stella on the fluffy bits, and then I trimmed my card and I glued it on the blank card front. So I hope you find it interesting. I think the Stamping Bella has really nice stamps. It's not really in my comfort zone, I suppose, so I need to keep practicing. So anyway, thank you very much for watching. Please don't hesitate to subscribe to my channel. Head over to my blog to see the photos and have a great day. Bye!